Peter Newmark, a prominent figure in translation studies, developed a comprehensive framework that helps translators determine the most suitable method for rendering a text from one language to another. This theory outlines 8 distinct translation methods, each tailored to different types of text and translation goals, ranging from word-for-word accuracy to more adjective and culturally sensitive approaches. These methods are especially valuable when translating complex literary works such as Animal Farm by George Orwell. Newmark's translations theory is well suited for translating novel from English to Indonesian because it provides a structured framework for understanding and applying various translation methods including semantic and communicative approaches which are crucial for conveying both meaning and cultural nuances.
Peter Newmark introduced various translation methods that help translators to decide how to approach a text. There is 8 methods that he used. One is word for word. Translation is word is translated directly from the source language to the target language, keeping the same word order used for analyzing language structure, but not for natural translations. And the number 2 is literal translation. The grammatical structure of the source language is changed to the closest form to the target language, but words are still translated one by one, often used as a first step before perfecting the translation. And the number 3 is faithful translation. Attempts to stay true to the original text by retaining meaning and style even if the translation sounds unnatural, suitable for literary and academic texts. And the number 4 is semantic translation. Similar to faithful translation but allows for slight adjustment to make the text sounds more natural while maintaining the original meaning, focuses on beauty and clarity rather than strict accuracy.
The next method, we have adaptation, the most creative form of translations, often used for grammar, poetry, and cultural texts. The content is rewritten to fit the target culture while maintaining the original theme. The next is free translations, focuses on conveying meaning rather than precise wording or structure. This method often results in a much longer text than the original. Next, we have idiomatic translation, uses idioms and expression for the target language to make the translation sounds natural. It may change the meaning slightly but aims to maintain the original intent. And then, lastly, we have communicative translation. Prioritize clear and effective communications in the target language, ensures the message is easily understood by the reader even if some original details are adjusted.
So, there is some example of the translation method in the novel Animal Farm by George Orwell, which has been translated into Indonesian by Bakti Sumanto. So, first example here is word-for-word translations. In the example, in the source text, Boxer was an enormous fish, nearly 18 hands high and as strong as any 2 ordinary horses put together in the page 14. And then in the target text, Boxer adalah seekor binatang yang begitu besar, tingginya hampir 18 depa, dan sekuat 2 ekor kuda biasa bersama-sama. In page 3, these sentences uses the word-to-word translation method because the result is awkward and unpleasant to read. Word-to-word is a method that does not consider the naturalness of the target languages and only focuses on the literal word equivalent and the original structure. And then the next example is the literal translation in the source text, with the ray of light from his lantern dancing from side to side in page 14. And then in the target text, dengan membawa penerangan temaram dari lentera yang bergoyang ke kiri dan ke kanan in page 1. So, these translations keeps the order of the information as the original text, but it uses the correct Indonesian sentence structure. It is not as rigid word for word, as it adapts the grammar of the target language but retains the order and literal form of the original words. The lion dancing from side to side, translated as bergoyang dari kiri dan ke kanan, instead of bergoyang dari samping ke sisi samping, it gives a more natural impressions.
So in here we have the example of faithful translation. The source text is Old Major, so he was always called, though the name under which he had been exhibited was Wellington Beauty from the page 14, and then the target text is Si Tua Major, demikian ia selalu disebut, walaupun ia pernah disebut sebagai Wellington si Cantik from the page 2. So in this translation, the translation keeps the nuances of the original, the details of the names, the way they are mentioned, and the explanatory sentences are kept intact, even though the sentence style is rather long and formal in Indonesian. In the praise Old Major, translated to be Si Tua Major, it shows the main focus is on faithfulness to the content and style of the original source. And then the next we have semantic translation. From the source text, He seldom talked, and when he did, it was usually to make some cynical remark. For instance, he would say that God had given him a tail to keep the flies off, from the page 14. And the target text is, ia jarang berbicara. Dan ketika berbicara, biasanya hanya untuk melontarkan komentar sinis. Misalnya, ia akan berkata bahwa Tuhan memberinya ekor hanya untuk mengusir lalat. From the page 2. So in this translation, sounds natural and flowing in Indonesian, but the original meaning remains the same and it easier to understand in context.
And then the next example is free translation. In source text, a wet stripe down his nose gave him a somewhat stupid appearance on page 14. And then in the target text, ada satu garis belang putih yang turun dari kepala ke hidungnya dan memberinya penampilan yang sedikit banyak membuatnya terlihat tolol on page 3. The entire sentence here uses the free translation method with addition and restructuring procedures. It's focusing on the overall meaning rather than following the source text word for word. Simple descriptions of a wet stripe down his nose becomes garis belang putih yang turun dari kepala ke hidungnya, or in English a wet stripe running from head to nose. The translator adds special details from head to nose not present in the original. These expansions create a more vivid mental image for the target reader. Also, so much stupid appearance becomes sedikit banyak membuatnya terlihat tolol, or in English more or less makes him look stupid. It emphasizes how the translator interprets character impressions more explicitly. Alright, and then the next example is idiomatic. In the source text, if asked why, he will say that he saw nothing to laugh at on page 15. And then the target text, ketika ditanya mengapa tak tertawa, ia akan menjawab tidak ada yang patut ditertawakan on page 3. The target text uses idiomatic translations such as saw nothing to laugh at. Is replaced with an Indonesian idiomatic expression, tidak ada yang patut ditertawakan or nothing worthy of laughter. Rather than translating the sentence literally, ia tidak melihat apapun ditertawakan. Translator employs an idiomatic construction that is more natural and culturally familiar phrase that conveys the same judgmental tone as the original. Alright, so for conclusion, in translating animal form, various methods from Peter Newmark's translation theory are applied to maintain both meaning and readability. The translator balances between source-oriented methods like semantic and faithful translation, especially when preserving Orwell's political tone and allegorical depth, and target-oriented methods like idiomatic, communicative, and free translation, to ensure the text sounds natural and is easily understood by Indonesian readers.